Hi boys and girls, today I'm going to take you through some different activities to teach you how to juggle. But first you will need some different pieces of equipment. In order to juggle, you can use a lot of different things. One of the easiest pieces of equipment is a plastic grocery bag because it floats nice and slow. Other slower items are things like paper towels, tissues, maybe a dish towel, although that wouldn't go very slowly. You could also use a ball, a bean bag, or my favorite, a pair of socks rolled into a nice little ball. Stay tuned and follow along for some different activities to teach you how to juggle. Level 1 of juggling is using just one item. I'm going to start by using just a plastic bag since that's the easiest tool to use. When you are juggling one item, the first thing you're going to do is just practice tossing and catching your item using one hand only. When I'm tossing the bag, you'll notice that my palm stays towards the floor when I toss it and when I catch it. So I would toss it up and catch it, bringing my hand down, up and down, up and down. As you're doing these different juggling progressions, you're going to want to try to do 10 in a row of each progression before you move on. Once I get 10 in a row with my favorite hand, I would move on to my opposite hand. In juggling, you have to use both hands, so it's good to practice both. And then I'm going to try to do 10 tosses and catches using just my opposite hand as well. Before moving on to level 2, I wanted to show you what level 1 might look like using something other than a really slow moving plastic bag. For example, using some socks, a ball, or a bean bag, instead of having your palm facing down, you would want to flip your hand over and put the object on top of your hand with your palm facing up. As you're tossing and catching, you're trying to keep your arm or your hand in between your belly button and your shoulders. As you're tossing the object, you want to toss the object about head level or a little bit higher. Keeping my eyes on my item, I use my one hand to toss and catch my item continuously 10 times in a row. When I'm done with that hand, I switch to my other hand and I do the same thing, tossing the object, trying to catch it over and over with that hand. Level 2 is still using one object, but this time, instead of tossing and catching with your same hand, you're going to be tossing the bag across your body and catching with your opposite hand. And across and catch, across and catch, across and catch, 10 times in a row before I move on to the next level. Level 3 brings us to using 2 items in a 2-item waterfall. You'll notice my 2 items are different colors. I think using 2 different colored bags just makes it a little bit easier to know which is which when you're trying to toss and catch and grab with the different juggling skills. Level 3, like I said, is the 2-item waterfall. In the 2-item waterfall, one hand, usually your favorite hand, is going to be your tossing hand. So that's my hand with the white bag in it. When I toss, I'm going to toss across my body. Once I toss that white bag, I pass the gray bag over and then I catch with that opposite hand catching that white bag. I continue tossing with my favorite hand and passing and catching with my other hand. So it would look like this. Toss, pass, catch. Toss, pass, catch. Toss, pass, catch. Toss, pass, catch. Try to get it 10 times in a row before moving on to level 4. Level 4 is again using 2 items, but this time you're going to be doing the same thing with both hands at the same time. So very similar to level 1, where you're tossing the items up and catching with the same hand, that's what you're going to do during this one, but you're keeping your items on your same side of your body. So my white bag always stays in this hand, and my gray bag always stays in this hand. I toss up and catch, toss up and catch. Notice my hands are always moving together, trying to toss and catch and keep my throws and catches consistent. 10 times in a row before you move on to level 5. Our level 5 juggling skill continues with 2 items. You are going to continue using both hands at the same time. This time, instead of going straight up and down with both bags, you're going to be crossing the bags and switching hands as you're catching but going at the same time. So it looks like this. Toss across, catch, toss across, catch, toss across, catch, toss across, catch. Continue for 10 times before you move on to level 6. Level 6, still using 2 items. It's called the 2-item cascade. When you do the 2-item cascade, it's similar to level 5 where you're going to be crossing your body, but instead of going at the same time, you're going to be doing one hand first. I'm going to be starting with the white bag, which means the white bag always goes first no matter what. When I cross with the white bag, I'm going to toss with this hand, then I toss with my second hand. As I toss, then I catch that first white bag, and then I'll catch the second white bag. So toss, toss, catch, catch are your cues that you're going to follow. Should look like this. Toss, toss, catch, catch, toss, toss, catch, catch. Notice that my white bag is always going first, so I'm not leading with the same hand each and every time. I'm leading with the same object. 10 times in a row until you move on to level 7. Level 7 is where we start with our 3 items as we're juggling. We're going to start with columns juggling. When you juggle in columns, as you toss your items, you're tossing them up straight, up and down, not switching hands and not crossing each other at all. Kind of like a column on a building. You start out by tossing your middle item, and then you toss your side items, and then your middle item, and then your side item, continuously as many times as you can. Middle, sides, middle, sides, middle, sides, middle, and then you go sides again. Continue at least 10 times in a row before you move on to the next level. In level 8, we're doing the 3-item cascade. This is very similar to level 6, where you were tossing across and then catching and catching. But when you do 3 items, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to put those down so I can demonstrate pretending with my hands to show you the pattern. You start with an extra toss. So you toss with your favorite hand, toss with your other hand, then catch that first item, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch. After that extra first toss, it's the same pattern. Tossing across, catching down, tossing across, catching down, and you continue as best you can. Having a consistent toss with your items is really important at this stage so that you're able to keep all 3 going at the same time. Now that I've demonstrated what the pattern is for a 3-item cascade, here's it in real action using the 3 separate items. I toss, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch, toss, catch. Keep going. Be ready to move your body. If your bags move out of the way, you want to try to keep it as consistent in your toss as you can. keep going for as long as you can. Now's a great time, if you've been using bags the whole time, to go back to level 1 and try it with a different object, for example a sock, a ball, a beanbag, something that might move a little